Good day, and I should say good afternoon, viewers, and welcome to Futsal868 Corner Talks. My name is Geoff Edwards, series moderator and president of the Futsal Association of Trinidad Tobago. It's a great Saturday afternoon, and given the technical situation that occurred last week, we sincerely apologize, and today is our makeup. Futsal868 Corner Talks is an online meetup series where global sporting professionals share their experiences and perspectives on the fastest growing indoor sport in the world, futsal. In recent sessions, we expanded to discuss topics of social issues and their relation to sport. Our main objective is to sensitize and educate sport stakeholders on the sport of futsal and other pressing and global issues. Last week, Sunday, or I should say the Sunday before, Futsal868 Corner Talks reviewed the National Budget Statement 2021 entitled Resetting the Economy for Growth and Innovation, as presented by the Honorable Wong-M.B.A, MP, Minister of Finance in the House of Representatives. As with all installations of a national budget, the next step is the financial management of government agencies, including the Ministry of Sport and Community Development, and their respective stakeholders, business entities which include profit and not-for-profit organizations, and regular citizens like myself during this COVID-19 pandemic. Today, in episode 27, we talk sport and the financial management. Joining us for the first of three is Mr. Sherwin Wong. And for us to be able to, we want to be able to welcome him, thanking him very much for being a part of this venture. Good day, Sherwin.
Good day, Geoffrey. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here today.
So I really would like you to tell us a little bit more about yourself in terms of your bio, into who you are, who is Sherwin Wong, why we should trust Sherwin to speak to us about financial management.
I understand. I've been in the finance industry for quite some time, going on 24 years. I started off at unit trust with investments, and I moved over to Government Life of the Caribbean in 2008. My journey has been hard at the beginning because I didn't know much about insurance at the time when I started, but because I wanted to help people and I wanted to use the knowledge I was gained from Guardian to assist people, it became a love of mine. And I'm even now to help my clients get to the goals that they want to achieve, both long term and short term. I'm coming from a very humble home. I realized that money was always an issue, and I wanted to be able to share the knowledge that I have now with people who came from similar backgrounds as mine.
It's interesting to say humble home because I also heard that you went to St. Mary's College, Zimbabwe.
Yes,
and I always have to make sure that remind my guests, my audience, as regards the two alma maters I represent, St. Mary's College, Port of Spain, and Presentation College, San Fernando. And it just so happens that a lot of persons who pass through here come from either school. So some people might start to think that I'm biased, but it's just best of the best is represented. So it's really good to know that.
Yeah, the Razataza days.
Of course. So let's jump straight into it. And in this segment, we're going to be introducing financial management to our guests. And as I said in my opening remarks, is the budget. And now is a time of how we're going to manage the little pittance that we have. We have taxes, we have continued bills to pay, and it's not and we no longer can be able to say, hey, yeah, we're gonna jump on a plane and head to the great US, to the great England, to be able to escape and find a better way of life, because even there they have their own issues, and even there you still have to manage finances. So with that being said, what is financial management, Sherwin?
Quite simply, but it's the management of the money that you earn. So we all have goals, we all have expenses, and we all earn a certain amount of income monthly. The fact is that we need to ensure that the money that we earn monthly, that we can retain as much of it to actually achieve the goals that we have. Now, before I get into that, you need to understand one of the key points of the financial management and budgeting. Now, without a budget, it's going to be difficult for you to keep track of the changes that you need to make to get to the goal. And you need to review the budget regularly. By reviewing the budget, then you can make adjustments on your month-to-month to actually get to the goal that you want to get to. They're all, every single person has a limit to the amount of money that they can spend. We're not all lotto winners, so we still have that limit of income. And what we're trying to do is to ensure that we can achieve as much of what we want to get with the income that we have. It's about smart planning. It's about finding different investments that you can actually put your money into, which will cover both the long term and the short term. It's about having these goals, putting the goals in front of you, sticking to these goals, and then you eventually achieve them.
So, I have had guests before who speak as regards to mental health. We know how important right now it is to secure your mind. I have had guests who speak about sports science and how well it is to take care of your body. But how important is financial management?
It's extremely important. At the end of the day, if you don't save now, because it's very difficult, in terms of the income has been reduced, and a lot of my clients now are functioning on half the income that they earned before COVID-19, and we still have to survive. The key is to find a really good financial advisor who's going to actually sit with you, get those goals in front of you, and find a way to get them completed. It's going to take a little while longer now because obviously COVID has reduced the income. But even after COVID, you don't want to be in a situation where you have all these expenses piling up in front of you, and you didn't actually take a part to actually cover these expenses. It's extremely important to ensure that you have a plan, a balanced plan. I'm not saying that you should take all the income that you earn and just put it away on a mattress or save, because we still have to live. But the plan that we put in front of us should be something that's achievable, and it should always return to the goals that we set for ourselves.
You speak about financial planner, I would say a financial advisor. That sound like if I had to spend extra money for a service showing. What is a financial planner? What is a financial advisor? Why do I not have to? Why can't I can't go to my mother, who I see budget, mine 5 children, plus was the financial wizard of the household. Why can't I go to Mom Gloria? Why had to come to you? What is a financial advisor?
Geoffrey, these days are like the days we grew up in, when you would say, okay, we're gonna start susu, or we're gonna put this money away in a cash pan. Right now we need to ensure that we can get as much on the little income that we have. Bearing in mind that the rates are not as attractive as they were maybe 10 or 20 years ago, but it's important for us to get some sort of return. A financial advisor is just someone who's actually going to advise the client about products within a particular organization, right? To ensure that they have the best product set for them. The advisor is going to look at the needs of the client, because it's about need selling. Every single individual has a particular need. All needs are different. Your need may be retirement, because you may be at that age where you're planning retirement, but a younger person, their need may be saving towards a house. When we have these needs, the advisor will look at what best product to invest in to get you to accomplish these needs, these goals, whether it be long term or short term. So it's all about need selling. And the advisor doesn't get paid by the customer, the advisor gets paid by the company. So, for instance, in Guardian, advisors get paid a commission when the transaction is completed, when there's a satisfied customer who actually received a benefit from the product that was given to them or sold to them by the financial advisor.
How important is a financial advisor? And I'm speaking, you realize I'm not speaking to sports here, I'm talking to everybody. And I believe that we're not speaking to athletes only, we're not speaking to sporting organizations, but to everyone. How important is a financial advisor?
I really appreciate that question. So I related to me. So me as a financial advisor approached me, and at the time I didn't quite understand what was the benefits of the product. Now, when you sit with an advisor, it's important to explain to them what your current situation is. For instance, you raised the question more like the sporting athletes. A lot of these athletes have a very short time where they earn income, and the advisor can come in to show them how they can retain as much of this income for retirement. So maybe retirement plan is a good place to start for them. What I also realized when I was doing some research is that a lot of these athletes also get sick. They become critically ill. And then the foundations or institutions like yourself, you find yourself raising money to actually cover the expenses of medical expenses of these athletes. And the financial advisor can also come in there with, for instance, a critical illness policy, which can also help to actually raise funds with a lump sum payment, so that these athletes, when they become ill, whether it is a tumor or cancer or whatever it is, or a heart or valve replacement, so that lump sum of money can be used instead of them having to go to companies and ask for payments, or actually having to throw barbecues. So to me, a financial advisor is one of the key persons that we're going to need right now in the COVID-19 situation, because a lot of people would need to know where they need to put their money. And the financial advisor is going to take you and say, okay, this is the product that we have that can get you to this point that you want to get to, or maybe you want to cover yourself for critical illness, and they can do that. Maybe you want to protect your children in the event that you die unexpectedly, and we can also do that. It's not just about car insurance in terms of financial advisor. It's a lot more than that, you know. And you need to have a love for your clients and a love for what you do, because referrals is how we earn, you know. And if you have a dissatisfied client, they're not going to refer you either. So
Yes.
for me, when I tried to do the products with Guardian Life, that person, you know, he came across really strong, but I didn't quite understand it, and that was a foundation for me to be able to help my clients know and explain what they're buying in totality.
With that being said, what services do you offer? Because I heard car insurance, and what really registered to me is, it's interesting that we protect our vehicles, we protect our homes, which is by law we have to. But really and truly, we don't protect our bodies and our families. So, what services do you, Sherwin Wong, as a financial advisor, as well as Guardian, offer? And I hope that Guardian could be able to come on board later on,
Yeah,
since they're getting more of these plugs, But but what services do you offer, Sherwin, as well as can you give us some customer reviews of persons? I know that you also have your own story to tell when it comes to insurance and financial, well, not just insurance, but the whole financial management component of it. So talk to us.
of course, and thanks for asking. In a general, we can offer life insurance, critical illness, personal accident injury. We also offer policies. We have investment policies. We can do also car insurance, and we can do public liability. The fact is that most times people would come to a life insurance or agent or a critical illness to get critical illness when there's a need. So what's going to happen is that I've had cases where persons were diagnosed with a critical illness, and then they would try to get the life insurance. I've also had cases where persons have had an instance where someone close to them died, and then they would try to get coverage as well. Me personally, the reason why I stress so much about critical illness is because it touched me personally when I started business. Funny story, when I came in, I told my mom was going to be a life insurance agent, and she's like, she's from that era, 1950s, that era. She's like, why you not get people to buy a policy for you? And I said, Mom, it's more than that. Soon after, she was diagnosed with cancer, and it was hard because when you don't have money and you have to go through the public system, basically you're going to take what you get, And I saw her really go through some hard times because we didn't have the cash to cover it, because we didn't have that cash from a critical illness policy, and because it was already a condition, we couldn't get a critical illness policy. So at that time it was difficult for me. I just had recently come into the business. I was kind of grasping with the products that they had, and she passed away. She did pass away. And at the time she passed away, I was also left with a lot of expenses, funeral expenses, covering the mortgage, and covering some other expenses. And she did not have life insurance either. So that put something in me at the time to be able to touch every single client that I have, to show them the importance of critical illness, the importance of life insurance. The fact is, as you said earlier, people do insure their cars, but what about themselves? So what about the income that you also have to protect for your kids? When you do get critically ill, income stops, and you still have the mortgage to pay, the car loan to pay. It makes more sense to take a small portion of your income, your salary, and put towards a policy that's going to cover the risk. There are a lot of people who may not be insured life insurance, and I mean I won't reach out to every single person, but the fact is that when a parent dies and they don't have life insurance, and the child now has to maybe live with an aunt. All the dreams that we had for that child are gone because we didn't think about providing for them. And the life insurance now is a lot more affordable because companies like Guardian have found ways to make it more affordable for persons, especially in this COVID-19. So, I mean, additionally, last I'll speak about is the annuity. I mean, there's so many benefits that an individual could reap from an annuity, and put money accrued for when they get older. Because most people would say that they would depend solely on NIS, but the annuity gives you a lump sum of money and it also pays you a monthly pension until you die. And these benefits, the benefits that you can derive just by putting a fraction of the income that you earn. I remember a book I read a while back called The Richest Man in Babylon. And the only thing I really took away from the book was everything that you earn is yours to keep. 25% of what you earn is yours to keep. And that stuck with me for a very long time. I used that same methodology to actually start building my investments. And that is something that most people can think about. Because if you do a budget and you look at where your money is being spent monthly, you realize that a lot of money that you spend is spent on things that you really don't need, a lot of luxury, a lot of indulgences. So, I mean, that's where I stand in terms of the products that we offer and some of the benefits that you can get from it.
So you basically here showing say stop the private zest, stop the zesting, right? But on a real showing, how with all that is being said, how do one choose a financial planner or advisor?
Yeah, well, we'll go with financial advisor because that's the term that is usually used locally. Um, and for me, most of my clients come from referrals. It would be a satisfied client who would refer me, and they would say, "Okay, you need to call my guy, call Sherwin Wong, because he took care of me." A lot of times, people would call companies and say they want to talk to an agent, and they would be put on to an agent. But 90% of the time, a referral is a really great way to go because you can have feedback from someone who's actually benefited from this person and actually seen this person, the financial advisor, that has worked with them to achieve the goal.
So then let me ask it in another way. So let me ask, who is showing Wong to his customers? Who is showing Wong to his clients that makes them comfortable enough to refer you based on your your proven track record to bring them success?
Yeah, I am who I am. I really put myself forward as an individual who cares. And I mean, I want to just say that when I came into this business, I didn't know everything.
Yeah.
And I had to go in there and get it. When I did my MBA, the only purpose I did that MBA was to be able to put more benefits towards my clients. When I met my first clients in 2008, who are still my really good clients, who built my portfolio, they were the ones who had their goals, and I sat down with them. I mean, I remembered very fondly someone sitting with me in 2009 and said, "Listen, I wanna get my house in like 10 years." And we sat down and I worked that plan. And she invested continuously every single month. And I'm not trying to be sentimental about this, but when I delivered that check for her, it was a lot more than she expected, a lot more than I expected. And she said, she got to the point where I could actually use this money and I could pay down on the house. And she got her house. And it was emotional because I mean you hear people say all these things about life insurance agents and insurance companies. But it's love that you have to have for your clients in order for them to refer you. They need to be able to pick up the phone and call you anytime and say, "Sure, when I have this problem, my son is going to abroad. Is there any insurance that you can use to cover when he's traveling? Or my mom just died and you're going to be there at that funeral. And they even invite you to their weddings, and I went their children go into the work life. They say, listen, you have to deal with Sherwin because he's been there. I've had a client and a close friend and mentor, Jason Charles, and he has a system where he brings his kids to meet me in the office, and we will sit down and we chat. And some of them are too young, but there's one in particular who just started working. And he said, hey, you're not going to meet anybody else but Sherwin because he has been there, and it's about creating that bond, that unbreakable bond with your clients. And that's why I am who I am. The exact person that you see in front of you now, person that you see in front of you in a one-on-one meeting.
So you become part of the family. You become part of their care. You see their vision, and you make sure that you hold their hand, crossing the line with them to ensure that they get there. And that is, I think that is your proven chakra speaks to resilience, speaks to family oriented, being meticulous, which are some of the things that we need from a financial planner. So for those who are joining us, we're speaking financial management, and with me is my fellow sales brother, Sherwin Wong. You're watching Futsal 868 Corner Talks, yes, on a Saturday. Because we had some interviews last week. So, we got to do the thing. And yes, we have it tomorrow as well. So we'll be right back. As again, Futsal 868 Corner Talks, we'll be right back. Yes, like, follow, and subscribe. All things Futsal and Trinidad Tobago, and more about the brand, Futsal 868. Welcome back to Futsal 868 Corner Talks. For those who are just joining us on our Futsal 868 Facebook page and YouTube channel, today we are talking sports and financial management with Sherwin Wong. Before we continue, let's look at some famous athletes who allegedly mismanaged their financial empires. We'll talk to Sherwin after this when it comes to this segment on understanding financial management. So, Sherwin, when we were putting that together, there was a long list of athletes who over the years have mismanaged finances. And yes, we speak to athletes, but even on a regular basis, we know of persons who have mismanaged. And the thing for me is on this short space of time on the earth, I believe that a lot of persons have had the opportunity to have an excess amount of money, or at least a fortune, whether it be one day, a month, over a period of years, in terms of finances, good finances, a good run, as we'll call it.
Of course.
And some or the other, they mismanage it. So with that being said, I ask the question, how early should persons consider financial management?
Geoffrey, I have a 5-year-old son, and I've started with him at 5 years old. Started by teaching him what a dollar bill looks like, what $100 bill looks like, and he really loves the $100 bill by chance, And I've started at a young age of 5. You can start showing them what money is, teaching them how to count, and then when they receive their allowances, you can show them the importance of money. So, for instance, there are children who would want to buy a bike. I mean, obviously they can't afford to buy the bike, but if you're giving them an allowance, you can say, okay, you need to save some towards the bike. And I'm bringing it back to, one of my clients who he actually takes his children to the bank every single month on a particular day to deposit part of their allowance. And when he told me that, I was blown away, because when you sit with these kids at 9, 10 years old, they can tell you about, okay, I'm saving X amount of money at this institution and it's going to give me a return, and I'm saving towards my college fund. They already understand that they're going to get to a point where they're going to have to pay for college, and they start putting their money aside. I also have a 18-year-old, and I mean, he's a little bit of a challenge, and at 18, he wants to spend money instead of saving money. And I also have to work with him in a different way to teach him the value of money. You need to ensure that they don't get everything that they want, the children that is. You need to also ensure that when they have choice, it's not both of them that they will receive. They have to choose one. So, I mean, these are different things that I do and different things that I was taught by my parents at a young age to actually understand the value of money.
Well, rain is down on our side here, so it's a lot of noise, but we are having this conversation about financial management. So, but you made us some very important points, because my next question was going to be on the role of parents when it comes to financial management. But you and I also spoke yesterday, our informal conversation, as regards to the fact that the educational system in Trinidad and Tobago does not speak to financial management.
Correct.
What can parents do to be able to fill that gap, to be the first set of educators and continue the educational journey with their children when it comes to financial education?
I understand. The thing is that there are products that some companies have which actually are put in place for kids, and what happens is that in my situation, I have parents come in with their kids and we sit down, and the child is there in the discussion, and the parent is saying, okay, I need to save a certain amount of money for you for your education. And the child can identify that this product is a product that I'm saving towards my education. And the parents will sit there and they will say, okay, we need to work out what college you want to go to, what will be the estimated cost along the way. And these are key factors that I have learned as well from my mother when she was alive, in terms of goal setting. It's important to ensure that your kids have goals. It's important to teach them how to budget from a very, very young age, because budget is a key element in financial management. And I believe that now it's a little different, because these kids, they are privy to the internet, and the internet has a whole lot of information about financial management and savings and stuff, and they can learn a lot of information from there as well.
It's interesting you said that, because even though that the internet has a lot of information, it's what is right and what is wrong. Correct. And then what is able to you could how to put it, you could adapt and adopt accordingly. But you made some very, very interesting points, for which I think I could paraphrase you by saying we need to be able to get our kids involved in the finances of the house. Is that true to say?
Yeah.
Is it also true to say, because I also know that as Caribbean parents, we sometimes say this is big people thing. We don't want the children involved. Our job is to be able to spoil our children. Our job is supposed to be able to provide for our children. When really and truly, we may not be doing that, or we may not doing a good job with them by not getting them involved in the conversation of financial management. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, Geoffrey. And a simple thing that you realize is that, I mean, expenses are increasing in terms of utilities as well, right? And my situation was that I basically live in a household where my kids would leave the television on, or they would have the AC running. And when the bill came, it was my responsibility. So what I did is I took the bill out, I put it on the table, and I said, listen, this is the expense. We need to cut corners, So what I'm trying to get to is that we need to involve our children, even in the paying of utilities, and let them know the cost involved of their actions, the cost of their actions, with the utilities in terms of the electricity bill, and also with the phone bills. Simple things, the cable bill. Let them know the cost of running in a day-to-day life as an adult, and include them. Because at the end of the day, these are our future leaders. And once they understand the value of money, it's going to change. The next generation is going to be completely different from us. They would actually be, that generation that would understand investment in the stock exchange, investment in short-term equities. And it's a good thing. And we need to stick together and make sure and discipline our children so they'll understand the value of money.
I totally agree with you, and I hope that we can really look at the Children's Act regulations and make sure that we stay within it, and I don't think that we are abusing our children.
You would have said that a couple of years ago when we were growing up, huh?
So, what are good and bad practices of financial management, Sherwin?
I like to say good practices are budgeting. You need to budget. You need to review the goals, set those long-term and short-term goals. Ensure that the product that you invest in is a product specific to what it's for. So you wouldn't want to invest in a long-term product if you want to pay a short-term bill, like pay for your education at SAM or whatever institution next year. You need to always ensure that the advisor is there to review that goal with you. Some people will want the review of their product every 6 months. Some would want it a year. It depends on how your income is. If you work in an institution where you pay a bonus, you may want the financial advisor to come out to you annually to review the goal, to make sure it's the same place you want to go, that you can still afford to go the direction you want to go. Now, COVID-19 has taken a lot of us by surprise with regards to our expenses. I myself had to make some adjustments, and it's understandable. We've had a lot of clients coming in now, and they're asking agents to please review their policies. I mean, I got calls from a lot of my clients and asked me, listen, and Sherwin has come out and review this because, my income has been cut in half, or, I was sent home. And this is a reality. And this is the reality that we live in right now. So more than ever right now, I think every single individual there should have a financial advisor, should have someone who could actually guide them in terms of where they're putting their money, because we don't know how long this is going to last for, and eventually money may end. So it makes sense for you to put aside as little as you can or as much as you can to get to the goal that you want to get to, and reserve is sort of like, I was thinking about it, it's sort of like, storing away for the winter. Because we don't know when it's going to end. We need to ensure that we have something left and something put aside.
Should we treat, and this is us now speaking to the sporting industry, should we treat elite athletes different to persons like you and I when it comes to financial management?
I mean, I've seen situations where elite athletes would earn a lot of money. And as you just showed, a lot of them lose the income because they didn't have someone like a planner or a financial advisor to show them where to invest their funds. It's a completely different feel when you're an elite athlete, because your income can end suddenly, and your income has a timings. So someone should sit with them and devise plans or investment funds where they will be able to have continuous income after their careers ended. In Trinidad and Tobago, I think more than ever, some of these athletes need someone to do proper management with them in terms of long-term planning, to have access to money immediately when their career ends, and also to have access to money when they go into retirement, because there are a lot of people who've earned a lot of money, and when they retire, there's nothing. And with annuities, there's a great way for you to put money away and benefit immediately, and benefit with a pension plan at the end as well. So I think that, elite athletes, they're very, very different type of person, because of the income that they earn. And they definitely need an advisor to sit with them, definitely.
It's interesting that you mentioned that in terms of elite athletes, because in doing some research for the show, we also recognize that a lot of the elite athletes have been internationally have been diversifying their portfolios. Even when it comes to Trinidad and Tobago, we recognize Dwayne Bravo, who has been diversifying his portfolio in terms of music. And in spite of what Trinbagonians may think, he is quite successful on an international front with it in terms of the diversification of his brand, even in terms of fashion as well. What are your thoughts? And I know this is a curveball here, but what are your thoughts as regards to diversification of portfolios in terms of athletes who would be moving away from what they may know all their life, which is earning money from sports, to now diversifying into non-sport activity? As regards to NBA players, they are now into tech companies. I saw Serena Williams; she's a part owner of the NFL franchise Miami Dolphins. So, what are your thoughts towards those things?
Now, it's a really great idea, because when your career ends, you need to find some other investment where you can earn income. The fact is that an elite athlete is a brand, and people buy the brand. And once you keep a clean brand, obviously, people want to keep investing in the brand. It's sort of like Brian Lara. I grew up as a young boy watching Brian Lara play cricket in Santa Cruz Sambuco grounds, which is now the Brian Lara grounds. And this was a young person in Fatima at that time, and he became a phenomenal cricketer. And even now, every single person knows who Brian Lara is. So that's why Angostura and other companies would use Brian Lara as a brand manager, because he has that brand. Now, investing in other elements means that you pull that brand now and you actually attach it to a company, and that company is going to be like an investment for you for your retirement as well. And it's funny that you also mentioned Dwayne Bravo, because I am pretty sure that he also has an advisor from an early age when he came into his cricket career, and that advisor is probably the reason why he is as successful as he is. And you realize that a lot of athletes who don't have advisors, they find it very difficult to balance finances. It's sort of like, you want to build a house, and you have an idea in your mind what the house should look like, but you need a contractor, you need a quantity surveyor, you need tools, you need people who know what they're doing, and you can focus on what you're good at.
That's definitely the right way. And we're going to take a second break, because up next will be our last segment. It's when you're having time flies when you're having fun. But definitely in our last segment, we want to speak more to and hear from Sherwin some advice, some and his closing thoughts as regards to financial management. You're watching Futsal 868 Corner Talks on a Saturday, people. Yes, on a Saturday. Noting that the Prime Minister tell us that we could go on the beach.
Yes.
We'll be right back. We all about educating, and what you just saw in terms of during the break was our Futsal 868 Coaching Education Series, where Cycle 1 was completed today, and we were happy to be able to facilitate 12 participants from all over Trinidad and Tobago, and including 2 from Barbados. And we want to say thank you very much to our facilitation partners, Futsal Solutions, the Spanish-Italian combination, who did an extremely great job in ensuring that all of the participants were well educated. As we continue looking to financial management, sport and financial management, this is the first of a 3-part series. And first part we have Mr. Sherwin Wong. And please note that next week, Sunday, we'll have part 2. And I have brought in some heavy hitters, including the former chairman of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, Mr. Ian McNaughton, and my prez alumni, Mr. Darrell White, the CEO of RBC Caribbean. So back to you, Sherwin, who has kicked off this great series. As we wrap up things, tell me more as regards to advice you would give to persons when it comes to financial management. because I'm very much happy to have somebody of your caliber speak to us and
Thank you.
demystify a little bit more this concept of financial management. Because you know the thing about it is, you're going to insurance is a scheme.
Yeah,
I want you involved in that because I know you speak about the persons who will bring their children by you. But then there's
yeah,
the other side of it whereby some people say, hey, I don't think that's enough. Insurance thing, not me. I don't want no part of that. You
yeah.
understand? Taking the money now and getting it back later on. When I could do something with that money now. I could go and play a mass. I could go and I could go and free up. I don't live now. Talk to us, Sherwin.
I think this is a great platform that you've created for me to share this to a lot of the public out there. I understand that way of thinking, but usually people say things like that when they don't have the knowledge about the products that you offer. And I mean, this organization, this great organization that I work for, Guardian Life, they have created a way for ordinary citizens like us.
I want check, guardian.
Like I said, they've created an avenue for ordinary persons like ourselves to create generational wealth for our children. And that's important. And gone are the days where, we have the same struggles as our parents. We now have life insurance where we can leave a legacy for our kids and our grandchildren. And that's amazing. One of the key things I wanna add though is that when you review the claim history of this company, you'd realize that they do pay claims and they pay claims annually. I mean, we've paid more than $70 million in life insurance last year and more than $20 million in critical illness claims. And what that means is a lot of people are becoming critically ill. And the claims that we've paid have been paid within a month or a month and a half, depending on the situation. The other thing is that retirement planning is critical. It is critical because there was an article in the Express some years back which stated that the NIS is not guaranteed for some of us in our generation because of the baby boomers. And it's critical for us to start our own annuity to ensure that we have that continuous income. Now, I've been here for a very long time. And at this point in time, I'm actually trying to get other persons to come in and be advisors. And I want to use this platform so that your audience know that if you're also interested in becoming an advisor, you can contact me at 721-1407, or you can send me your resume at sherwin.wong@myguardiangroup.com, because I want to be able to share to all the persons out there some of the benefits that we have. And it's just free consultation too. If you want to call and just get some advice, you need to review your policies as well, Godfrey, because what happens is a lot of people would say, I already have insurance. Yeah, but the insurance doesn't cover the risk that you have before you. So if you pass away unexpectedly, the mortgage is still going to be there because your insurance is not sufficient. And if you do get a critical illness because you're underinsured, you'll find yourself having to pay a very huge medical bill and still trying to find income to pay the expenses in front of you. So I want to take this opportunity to, allow your audience and all the listening public out there to come in, have a chat. Even if you don't want to have a chat with me, if you already have an insurance agent, review your policies, ensure you have a savings plan put aside, budget, most importantly, budget, and look at your retirement plan. Yeah.
I'm very happy to hear that, and I'll take time to recognize two things in my life. When I got accepted into University of the West Indies Mona campus to pursue geology, the third of five children, my parents, I wouldn't say they were cash strapped, but being primary school teachers was a little bit difficult. And I remember my mother got the aha moment of, hey, wait till we could go by the insurance agency and cash out, or to send the boy to school. And I actually saw where it actually came into play. And actually, before I left for university, my dad would have called the insurance agent and sign a plan for each one of his children that we took over when we reached a certain age. Secondly, is in the last month, I have lost three persons two being family and one being a very, very, very close friend.
Sorry, yeah.
And at different ages. One was 80. My uncle was 80. My cousin-in-law just retired as a permanent secretary in his 60s. And then a young man who was snuffed out from, due to violence, and considering that he was not in violence. So we see that it can come at any time. Our days are numbered. We don't know when is our time, and it's very important to understand that. What's also important for me that I want to share with my viewers is that it's not about the money, because it's the love of money that corrupts. But as the Bible says, money answers all things. So I want to take this opportunity, Sherwin, to be able to express that, and thank you for everything that you have done. And as Sherwin would have blurted out his numbers, I'm going to take the time to be able to share his contact details with you all, so that you could be able to reach out with him. And as it's on the screen there, you've seen his telephone number 226-3075, his mobile 721-1407. His email address, sherwin.wong@myguardiangroup.com. So once again, you have been duly educated by Mr. Sherwin Wong, and we will be sharing his contact details on our social media on Monday, whereby so that you can be able to feel free to contact this goodly gentleman of great stock, Zimbumba. So, your closing remarks, as I know that you have another engagement to attend to.
I'm really thankful for the opportunity that you've given me today to share and to your public. And it really means a lot to me, because I'm really here just to educate people about some of the benefits that are actually left on the table. And it's extremely affordable. And I'm really grateful. Thank you.
Someone is also thanking you, Sherwin. So we want to say thank you very much
Thank you very much.
for acknowledging the great work that has been done. And thank you again, Sherwin, for being a part of this journey with us. And we wish you and yours safety during this difficult time known as COVID-19. We pray that God will continue to bless you and yours, and have a great weekend, the remainder of the weekend, and a great week ahead. That is next week. So thanks again, brother.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Definitely. Bye-bye. So that's it, folks. Episode 27 on a Saturday. Futsal 868 Corner Talks. As with everything else, you all know us. One of the topics that is very much dear to our hearts is racism. And as our campaign continues, racism ends with me. And we have to ensure that racism ends with you. Social injustice and racial inequality needs to stop. And we will continue to use this platform to address it through our campaign.
It is our responsibility
to commit to making a positive difference in our society.
Listen, read, be a standing voice against discrimination and injustices. I am Irene Marquez.
I am Dee.
I am McKenna.
I am Jariel McCullen, and racism ends with
me.
A bold statement, a true statement. Racism ends, stops with me. I am your host, Geoffrey Edwards, wishing you all a great Saturday afternoon. And yes, join me tomorrow, same time, 4 p.m. As we go to Costa Rica, we meet the head coach of the men's national futsal team, Mr. Carlos Queiroz, as well as joining him is his friend and also one of my mentors, Mr. Constantine Constant, who would be acting as translator and having a friendly conversation with these two gentlemen who, with all God's willing, they will be doing battle in Guatemala to vie for spots for the FIFA Futsal World Cup, which happens in Lithuania next September. So as I said, join us tomorrow as Futsal 868 Corner Talks goes to Costa Rica, virtually, of course. Our borders are still closed. So 4 p.m., it's a date. See you then. Have a good afternoon.